World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Jana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
She was told that she couldn't play with the boys. She was told that they were too big, too rough, too strong. She was told to give up her dreams and move on. She was told to just be pretty, be quiet, be a lady. She was told that women had to stay on their side of the court, stay in your lane. Playing and competing with men was insane. She was told that men and women would never be equal. Dreaming like that would only be linked to your mind, to your soul. She never listened. She knew that their thinking was old. She is magic. She is the definition of spirit. She is what champions are made of. She is magic.
Well, greetings. This is Dr. Jana B. Woodhouse on the Soul City Network with Access Wealth Nation, giving you that checkup from the neck up, getting education on your financial life and taking on that financial journey. That's what we do. We talk about numbers and not be afraid of that word, math. Okay. So today I have a special guest, but before I get him on, because it's going to be awesome. I know I need to just give you some heads up. So first and foremost, of course, you know, if you have a plan, then you're not planning to fail. So the key is that if that's the case, then you know you need to get your financial strategies together. I am so proud of so many of you because you have contacted and reached out to the office at 646-375-2121. And you have asked for your financial analysis, and my team is so happy you're keeping them busy. And so definitely all you have to do is call the office, and that's 646-375-2121. And we will make sure that you get your financial plan. We're entering into the last quarter here. We're here in the last quarter of the year. Isn't it something? Things have just time flying. And so again, if you have the desire to get some of our books, the How Money Works book, you can go to my site at howmoneyworks.com/Jana B. But if you reach out to Anaj Enterprises Inc. at gmail.com, that's Anaj, ANAJ, Enterprises Inc. at gmail.com, and say you want a book. Now, let me say, when you email me, know that you need to have an address. This is a physical book. Now, we do have ebooks also, which is Change Your Literacy, Change Your Life. See, we've got a whole educational system taking place, because if you know better, you'll do better. And I truly believe that. So I am giving as much information as I can to get it into your spirit, your bone, and your mindset, because we have to have a different idea about money. Money is our friend. It is not the root of all evil. It is the means by which we can have success. Of course, those of you who have questions or responses, please feel free to put it in the chat. If you have to ask certain things, feel free to ask questions. I'll be glad to respond, and I know my guest tonight would be glad to respond also. One thing that I have to cover, must. Today is October the 24th, 2024. Okay, we got a situation. Those of you, you know how I feel about LLCs. Well, here comes the time. If you have an LLC, or you have an entity that was registered with the state, that's any state, but we're in New York, so therefore we're going to talk a little bit quickly about New York. But in it, you can go to it's FINCEN.gov, and you're looking for the beneficial ownership information. Why is this important? The government has said there's too many people out here who have businesses and doing some ill things with businesses. So now they want you to expose yourself, show yourself. And it's called BOI. It's got those initials, beneficial ownership information. It doesn't take a lot of time to fill it out. There are people out here right now offering to do it for you for a fee. It's free if you go to the site. It's simple. I've been there. I've done it. Of course, if someone like an accountant or a financial advisor, if someone does it for you, then, their time is money. And therefore, they should get paid for it. I'm not holding them, but you can go on yourself. The keys that you need to have is the legal name of your business, your tax ID number, or your social security number. Now, there are some exempt people. Now, the exempt people, it's a list. It's like 23 things that are on there. The majority of you out here who have registered your business in any way, shape, or form, if you had a doing business as DBA and you got a tax ID number, you probably need to go to that site. You also have, let me see some of the other things I jotted down. Oh, the country that you live in. Okay. Your address. And then you need to have your driver's license or your passport, and it has to be current, and email. And then you basically click the button, submit, call it a day. But the key is that you have to do this before January 1, 2025. If not, let me tell you something, you do not want to get into this mess. Why? Because per day, there is a fine of $500 for not doing it. Now, if you've got LLCs or businesses that, you've been hanging on to and ain't done nothing with them, it's time to seek out how you're going to close it. You only have to do this verification once. But the key is you have to do it before January 1, 2025. If not, you are going to be subjected to penalty. And penalty is not a light situation, $100. It's $500 per day. That'll take someone out of their business. We don't have time for this. Go on the site. That is FinCEN, FINCEN.gov. That's what it is, .gov. And you go in /BOI. Okay, anybody who can hear me from the sound of my voice, if you have any type of business, and I believe in entrepreneurship and business. So it's not a case of where, I'm trying to shy you away from it. It's just that you need to be in proper order. And so, it's so important that you do this. And I will keep talking about it until we get closer to January, because I cannot see us as business people being put out of business because we did not fill out a little form. Now, last year, some of y'all will say, but last year we were going to do it and y'all stopped us. That's true. That was last year. This year, and it was reopened January 1, 2024. And I'll tell you, honestly, I'm on top of everything that I has to do basically with taxes and finance. And I didn't hear this at all that had been reenacted. So there's a reason for this. So don't be the excuse or be the cause by which your business has been closed. Now, you have to have every owner or anyone who has at least 25% interest in the company or more, or if they have a deciding factor in the business, if they make decisions, then you need to make sure that their information is put into that BOI. Okay, and that's B as in boy, O as in Oscar, I as in indigo. Okay, so you have to do this. I can't emphasize it more, because this is a time that so many people have done businesses, multi-level marketing, done their EIN numbers, and then forgot about it. If you had something, go look to see if it's still active. Please do this. It's so important. Okay, so that was my public service announcement that we need to get busy on. But this is a time that so much is going on. And as you all know, I am now on a mission with bringing financial literacy to our community, the Black community and the Brown community. And we have videos and blogs to help emphasize it. But today, every Thursday, okay, we give you a little break. You come watch my show at 6, and at 8 o'clock, there is a free financial workshop. They are free every Thursday at 8 p.m. You just, the registration, oh, that's cute. It's not up. Okay, so we have the registration. There it is. Thank you. Change.smartmoneybooks.com. Sorry, not change, challenge. That's why sometimes you just got to read a little bit. Challenge.smartmoneybooks.com. Sign on to it, and every week you'll get a reminder. If you register for it, it'll have different events. It's the 5 elements to building wealth. And then in the 6th week, we talk about how money works for women. And then in the 7th week, we do what's called E to E, employee to entrepreneur. So it tells you things that just to get the mindset of the entrepreneur. So these are ongoing workshops. They're free. Okay. You can watch them in your, go attend in your PJs. Okay. But the key is that the knowledge is so much power, and the ability to get this information, again, is connected to our How Money Works book, our How Money Works for Women's book. We have the Change Your Literacy, Change Your Life book. So these are all books, and there's now coming out with a book for you wonderful young folks. The young folks, I think the Z generation. We didn't leave you out, So I'm just saying, get on board to the financial knowledge, because one thing that I'll say is, can you imagine, just imagine, if everyone in this country was financially literate? Just imagine what that would be like. And we wouldn't be making so many silly mistakes, okay? Because we'd be knowledgeable. And if we made a mistake, we know we made it and hold on to it proudly and correct it. So that's my other public service announcement, that you must sign up. And then when you register, they say, where did you get the information? Who referred you? Just say Dr. Jana. That's Jana with a J. So you can, anytime you pass in, let's say you miss one, you go in the rotation and it keeps going throughout the year, all the way to next year. And I'm glad to say that I've partnership with a group in Macon, Georgia, and they put on a phenomenal information resource workshop. Okay, so now today is a time and an energy that so much is going on. And sometimes we have to, not sometimes, all the time, we have to have something to deal with ourselves and to help us to grow spiritually, mentally. And being a metaphysician myself, it is so great when you're around other metaphysicians. But this gentleman is an okay, get it right, Jana. I'm going to wait till he comes on because I done messed it up. And I'm not going to mess it up again. So needless to say, my brother from another mother, a man that is known, renowned, and famous for numbers. And you know, my statement is numbers don't lie, just people do. And so we have, and I have the honor to bring on my brother from another mother, and a brother that is truly ingrained in the spirituality of our growth spiritually, because that's where we can fight. We can't fight physically, we can fight spiritually. So I'd like to introduce my brother LLoyd Strayhorn.
Thank you, Jana. How are you?
I'm blessed, brother.
It's interesting when you on my show, they call you Dr. Woodhouse. I call you Jana, and I keep saying we got it like that.
That's right. We got it like that. I'm so thankful that you could come on the show. I started getting nervous. I hadn't heard from you. I was like, I got to have LLoyd, because we're embarking upon a very strange time. It's been going on as you've had us, because your show, quote, quote, every Monday and Wednesday at 7:00, you'll need to be on Facebook, YouTube, anything you can grab to look at LLoyd Strayhorn, because he is going to give you the wisdom. But not only him, he brings on some powerful individuals. And they are out here not for, as they said last night, it's not about the money. Now, they do need the money, but it's not about the money.
Yes, we do.
Yes, it's about the information and the power. I don't know, audience, if you knew that most of the people who are very wealthy in this country have a special advisor. Well, I have my own. He's very special. And when things get tight, but see, sometimes you're blessed even bigger. I know I could pick up the phone, but I don't have to. Why? Because there is an app. And I talk about my app.
Yeah.
A*8. Okay, you go on there, you download it, and you get a little bit of LLoyd in your pocket.
That's what my kids call it. They said it's like having daddy in your pocket. I said, LLoyd will do. They wouldn't understand the daddy part,
And not only that, but he also has a newsletter, and he doesn't sell the emails. No. But those newsletters, okay, I'll tell you how I deal, and then I'm going to let LLoyd speak a bit because I have a few questions. But the way I deal is I get the newsletter. It tells my challenging days. It tells my good days. I put those on my calendar. Then I take out my A*8 and I look to see, do I have a green day, a red day, or is it a neutral day? Yes, and that's why I'm prosperous, because I know when I want to talk to people and when I don't want to talk to people, because my vibration is kind of rocky, So I just wanted to tell you that. So LLoyd, could you please share with us this year? We're closing out this year. We're in already October. We got November, December, and poof, it's done. What can we look from a spiritual point of view in the rest of this year? Because we know we have this election coming up in November. Oh, Lord.
Right around that time.
And originally I was going to hog tie and collar you and get you to talk about these candidates, but instead I'm staying away. We're going to talk about what we all need to do for ourselves as a people. Tell us something good.
Well, the one thing I was back since October is that this year, 2024, is an 8 universal year. How did I do it? 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4 equals 8. Now, 8 is a financial number. 8 deals with finances, legacies, wills, legal documents, properties, real estate, all those kinds of things, and law as well. However, I was pointing out that the number 8 is also a challenging number to the United States. So since we are now closing out, I've had persons like yourself, Jackie Barrios, other people on to kind of, so, and by the way, I am considered an astro-numerologist.
Thank you.
And you know what? My father couldn't mention when I got out of school and I said I wanted to be a numerologist. He thought I said neurologist. And you know how we do in a Black family. Oh, we got the first Black doctor in the family. And then a couple of weeks later, he said, what was that again? And I says, a numerologist. And naturally, as a parent to a child, how do you make a living? I didn't know that then. All I know is this was something I was passionate about. So I'm also passionate, just as you are, about raising people's awareness, because for we as people of color to have, I think it's about $1 trillion that we possess collectively in this country. We're starving in the midst of plenty. Why should we be starving with so much access to us? And our priorities have been so messed up that we will spend thousands of dollars on something, but won't spend maybe $100 to take a course that it can be better, So it's those kinds of things. So having persons on like you, and I was telling Matt, my good buddy, your brother, that people love it when you're on the show, Jana. And you look at the comments, there's so much. And in fact, one of the compliments was the person says that they do this, but they didn't know anything. They learn more information from you. So it tells us there's always something for us to learn. Yes. So October is a 9 universal month. What did I do? I took 2024, added it to the 10th calendar month. That equals 18, and 1 plus 8 is 9. So that means of October, this is a time to begin to cut our losses, let things go, especially things that are very wasteful financially. We'll buy things that we don't need. And again, this whole country is designed to be, shall we say, buyer-driven, consumer-driven. Other countries, they encourage their citizens to save, like in India and other parts of the world. Here we are encouraged to spend. We'll spend on things we don't need to have, and then we want to know why the gross product or the spending habits is about 35, I think, trillion plus more in debt.
Yeah, we continuously do mass debt, and we need to learn to save. It's interesting that you have the October, and through the years we have had market crashes in October.
Yeah, the famous one of 1929.
Yeah, that was the first, and that one I swear is because it was a joke on Wall Street. They used to say is because that same year when Good Friday came, they kept the market open, and so by October it crashed.
Yeah. Well, October is normally a problematic month to the United States as well as November, such as John F. Kennedy was assassinated on November the 22nd of 1963. So normally these months, so now you see why they refer to it as the October surprise. Okay? And I don't even know why they have the elections in November. I'd have picked another month. But sometimes people change things. Did you know the original swearing in of U.S. presidents was on March the 4th, excuse me.
Really?
The original swearing in of U.S. presidents until Franklin Delano Roosevelt became the president of the United States. He moved it from Pisces back into the sign of Aquarius when there's actually the swearing in. Yeah, he was the one that changed it from sign of Pisces, and what sign is he? An Aquarius. So I just thought it was interesting that the swearing in is always on January the 20th. But that period of late January into February is more consistent with the United States. Because, see, just as we have numbers, nations and countries and cities have numbers. So the numbers that follow this country is the 4, 1, 2, and 7 in that order. The 4 and the 1 because it's on the 4th of July. And so therefore the best months for this nation is always in February, June, July, and August primarily. However, the opposition month for the United States is always in January, especially April and May and October. These are the 4 most problematic months of the United States. For example, of the 5 Aquarian presidents that this country's ever had, 3 of them died in April. William Henry Harrison, Abraham Lincoln, and Franklin Delano Roosevelt all died in the month of April. You know, so when I pick a month that's stressful, I can almost name things like in October, the famous crash, like you said, of October 29, 1929. If you look at the famous San Francisco earthquake that took place in April 18th of 1906. So these are problematic months. So I know right now that for October, November, this is what I call a take it easy month. It should be a take it easy month for the nation. However, when we go into November, which is around the corner, it's going to be in a one universal month. What I did was I took 2024, added it to the 11th month, and that adds up to 19. 1 plus 9 is 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. So that means next month is going to be a good month for everybody to start fresh, start new, start all over again. So that's how it's going to be. And so it'll be good for people to jumpstart and things of that nature. Your question?
Yeah, I have the question is that so it's a start all over, and we're at a all-time high in the market. We have never seen a market like this. We are at over 42,000 in the Dow now. Just to give a concept behind, because it's a numbers situation. When I started back in 1984 in the investment world, the Dow was like 1,800. Okay, so you see how far the market has grown. I remember back then someone said, it was a guy who wrote a book, that the Dow would go to 35,000 points. And we all looked and said, crazy. But it is. We've gone past that. So if this is November is a time for new starts, concern is, of course, a lot of people are concerned about this election, but also the market. When will it correct itself? Because it will correct itself. But the question is, since it's a new start, is that a likelihood that something would make it change, or a change would take place?
I would imagine so, because here's the thing. Anytime you enter a 1 cycle year, which will be for everybody, that's why they call it the universal month, because no matter where you are, religion, ethnicity, finances, all of us are going to be affected, right?
Okay.
So if a person wants to make a fresh start, that would be the time to do it. Now, they've been finding out that some of these numbers have really been kind of like, say, propped up. So, for example, when the latest unemployment comes out, they will say one figure, then about a month or two later, it was not really the figure that they quoted. Okay.
Right.
And so what has happened now with the chairman, the Fed chairman, they've been talking about him, and he's cutting the interest rates, things I don't understand. But I know this, where once upon a time, an ounce of gold was $32, $35. An ounce of gold now is close to $3,000. I mean, it's in the ballpark. It's $2,700.
Yeah.
Silver at one point was $1.50 or something. Now that's hovering about $35 to $40. So what's happening is people are now talking. I'm hearing more people talking about God's money, because when there's some programs I watch and they show the national debt. This country is billions and billions and billions. Trillions.
Trillions.
Trouble. And so what they said is what they'll do is just print more money. But you see, there was a standard at one point until 1971. And what makes that interesting, 1971 adds up to 18, which is a 9. Well, the president that took us off the gold standard was Nick, Richard Milhouse Nixon. And he was born on the 9th of the month of January. So I just thought it was interesting that in the year of the 9, he took this country off the gold standard, because there used to be a dollar bill that said silver certificate.
Oh, yeah. I have one of them.
Yes, I have. You got to hold on to what little you got, which meant that when we turned in that piece of paper, we could therefore in exchange get at least an ounce of silver. Well, all of that's gone. They're finding out that countries are now reclaiming, especially about 2 years ago, or toward the end of the Obama administration, when they seized all of Russia's monies and put it in, and maybe that was the formation of BRICS rather. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because a lot of countries are now saying, all right, this nation is always sanctioning people or threatening their dollars. And so I guess countries, this is all the numbers.
It's all about the numbers.
About the numbers.
And the thing is that true, you know, because the beginning of the torture, and I'm going to ask you, because Franklin Delano Roosevelt also hit us on the gold standard. He had started to pull us off with the backing, and that was 1933. So
Yeah.
if we take those numbers and add, okay, I'll leave that to you. But that is a time that we started having the issue, because the crash had come and people were trying to reconvene. Then came the Social Security, which we weren't supposed to be having this Social Security all the way here in 2024, but we do. And so all these changes, like you said, it's the numbers. And if we're going into, what is it, the one phase to start again, well, we should be ready to do that. We should start doing well, let you tell. What do you do in the one phase as an individual?
Well, as November, one of the things is your 3 best friends become me, myself, and I. It is not about what people want as so much as what you want for yourself. Anytime you're in a 1 day, 1 month, is like November's going to be, those that have been in what is called codependent relationships. Now, see, people think it's about boyfriend, girlfriend, but it's really nations that depends on other nations, that they at some point will be forced to stand on their own. That is going to be the whole crux of the situation for November. But it is going to allow people to jump out on faith, start businesses. There are going to be a lot of startups, okay? But we always know it takes about, 5 years for it to really prove itself out. I think Nvidia is one of those gaming shows that's really high as a kite, but who knows, by another year or two, will it be that same? So there's always fluctuations. So the fact that the market is, as you say, those numbers now are extremely high.
Yeah.
Okay. Then that means the higher it is, the deeper the fall. So what I'm saying is, so this country has to be, and we still haven't gotten past November yet. We're not even into that month, but that's going to be the time whereby people need to be thinking more in an independent fashion, not in a selfish way. But if you can't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of your family, your loved ones, or a nation, for example? Because don't forget, the United States is still affected by this influence.
Because we are moving into, still, they're trying to suppress inflation. That's what the whole idea of lowering the interest rates is, to sort of capture inflation. But we're seeing it. We're seeing it in our markets now. You know, you go to the store and my last thing was getting where it used to be a quart of orange juice and then it was a gallon of orange juice. Well, now there's something in between there because it's only 42 ounces. So they've cut, and then it made it cylinder. And then the same thing with the cans of soda. Everything is shrinkflation.
Yes, yes. Everything has been downsized and the money's about the same, you know? So it's like, and it's all profit driven. not about the benefit of its citizens or things of that nature. And so imagine had people actually, one of the best things for this country to do actually is train its citizens to start saving rather than spending. That's why this country's in so much debt. Spend, spend, spend. And then what they do is they make it so easy. Then all of a sudden, because getting credit used to be for the kind of exclusives, American Express, stuff like that. Now they'll throw a credit card at you all kinds of ways. And especially if your credit score is like about 700 and whatnot,
Oh,
you're getting
yeah.
credit. I just want to entice you to just spend, spend, spend. But if this country had been taught like other nations, like in India, China, and whatnot, to save money, okay? Like the Indian farmers, that when they're having a good year, they stock up on silver. They don't stock up on no paper, no rubies. They stock up on some silver. And they also do gold. Did you
Yes.
know that the women in India collects gold just in case their husband run off? They got something to depend on, okay? The women are
It makes
smart.
sense. It makes sense. That's
Yeah.
the whole thing is that we have fallen for a lot of okey dokes. And
Mm-hmm.
I was speaking to the brother that was on your show with gold and silver and precious metals.
Yeah, Brother
And I
Richardson.
said, yes, Mr. Brother Richardson. And I'm going to have him next week on our show because we talked and I said, if you remember, about maybe it's been at least 8 years that there were these gold and silver parties. And what they would do is get you to bring your gold and don't worry about it if it's in one earring, one ring, one, it didn't matter. Bring it and we'll buy it from you. And they did these parties and people brought everything they had that was gold and silver and they got pennies on the weight, not
Mm-hmm.
dollars on the
Mm-hmm.
weight,
Yeah.
pennies on the weight. And it was almost like Tupperware parties. If you gave a party, then they gave you a gift. So I call it the sucker move
Yeah. Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
sucked everything out of you and they got your gold and your silver. And you gave it to them. And
Well,
then
that's why
now, mhm,
I was going to say that's why when you come on my show, the first thing you do is please don't give your parents their gold and silver away, utensils, cups, whatever the case is. Please, that's the first thing that comes out of your conversation is letting
yeah,
people be aware that
stop giving
grandmama
away
silver
grandma's gold and silver. That's
that
another
has
thing
value.
because I got in touch with Brother Richardson again, and I said to him, not only the gold and the silver, but we got to stop giving away the land. We give away, we give it all back. And the thing is that we are people who, without any thought, we were building legacies. Great grandmother, great grandfather, they left you something to work with. No, it wasn't, sometimes it was just a quilt, but it was
Mm-hmm.
a guiding vehicle for you to get to your wealth. And what did we do? We started giving it away. We're going to sell
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
You know,
I know a couple of people now who has property in the South, and they'll say how real estate company says, "Oh, you don't need to go through all that inconvenience. We'll just take it off your hands." Now, some are going to go for it, unfortunately, okay, because land is wealth too.
yes.
Land is wealth too. Where does gold and silver come from? From the land, okay. Paper, I mean, if you talk about paper dollar bills, fiat currency as they call it. Okay, so it's made out of trees and they printed up a storm. But then again, almost every nation that has printed fiat money, it was once then, and it's a whole nother thing now. It's almost like wallpaper, and they're
Yeah,
saying that
it's not. And the thing is that the coins, their currency, their energy.
yes,
I'm listening to the brother Richardson and then we're going to hoo-ha about him because he was even talking about on your clothing to have silver buttons,
yes,
gold
to protect it
buttons.
from the EMS rays that come out a lot. And in fact, I had a meeting with him yesterday, and I got a silver chalice from him to put my water in. Water
Okay.
is easy when you drink out of a silver vessel and a copper vessel rather than out of plastic.
That's an interesting thing. And that's something we see. We need to go back. I know I have a friend of mine who's in Maryland, and he changed all of his eating ware was all done to gold. He said,
Yes.
I need to eat on gold. And I think about the Midas touch to have gold. And we need to get back to the natures of
And
things.
then they used to say, "And is it worth its weight in gold?" They don't say it's worth its weight in paper.
No.
You know,
And
and so there's
that's one of the things that came up during one of the people talking campaigns, and they were saying that there's a chance that because we would resort to the economy of Venezuela. Well, Venezuela, the way that you buy a chicken, if you ever Google buying a chicken in Venezuela, you got to do it with the weight of the money because the money has no value.
yeah,
And neither does our money. But we need to be able to use it on different levels, the gold, the silver, the bonds, the stocks. We can't be frightened of moving forward and stop letting other people use our money to become wealthy. Banks make money on us. Why do we know this? There's a thing called the rule of 72. With the rule of 72, you get the bank gives you 1%. Bank goes and takes that same money and loans it out for mortgages at 9%, 10%. This is what we call spread. 1% to 9. Well, that's 8. Somebody's making 8.
yeah, yeah,
And if it's not you and it's your money, then you become a sucker. We just got to be
See, a lot of
real.
people don't know. And to be very honest, another thing this about this whole year, which is an 8 financial, notice how many banks closed this year. At the beginning of the year, that high tech bank in California that was for
Yes,
high tech startup companies folded. And
yes.
a lot of banks are folding. A lot of divisions are folding. And it's all seems as if it's all merging into just a few. And I guess it's all ready for the CBCD, whatever it is, where you're going to have to account for every penny you spend, and then you're going to have to get the approval. There's going to be resistance with that too.
Well,
It's going to,
that's one of the
because
things with this thing with the people having to have to tell their business, the BOI. When I found out about that 2 days ago that it had been reenacted, and then when I heard the penalty, I was like, oh my God, you know, that's going to put people out of business. They're going to charge a penalty of $500 a day if you have not registered your business and disclosed it. That the first 2 days probably will put you out. It's
yeah,
this is what's going on. And the thing is that we should have a little bit of everything, a little gold, some silver. We have some stocks, some bonds. We have some liquid money also, available
mhm,
to get to. Put some stuff far away. We can even deal. I'm not the biggest person on cryptocurrency, but whatever you want after you've done your 7 money milestones. That's my preach. You did your 7 money milestones. You got your education. You got your insurance taken care of. You've got your emergency money. Okay, then you got your debt taken care of. Okay, so then after that, you put together, you build your wealth, and last but not least, you protect it with your wills and your
trust,
trust.
maybe. Yeah, yeah.
If you do all of that and you want to do something, you take it to Atlantic City and gamble. I won't care. But
Can you imagine had this nation from the beginning made part of the school curriculum financial literacy?
see, the
No.
key is if I keep you just dumbed down, then I control. So if you think that getting 1-2% is good, then I can get 20% because
That's even
I
better
know
for them.
I can take your money. And like I say, I always challenge anyone. If you take $5,000, go into the bank and come back in an hour and say, I want my cash back. You're not getting your cash back. You're going to get a check. They're going to give you a bank check. So therefore, they're using your money. It's been done. Knowledge is power, and action is even more important because
And with
we've
the
got
Frank Dodd Act, they now have a bail-in policy. So people think, well, if things get tough, you can run to the bank and just get your money out. The bail-in means just the opposite. They then hold on to your money and give you like a little certification paper, whatever the case is. So I can understand why now people are taking options like precious metals and things of that nature, or going with other options just in case something happened. So I would agree with, and the responses when you were on about a week and a half ago was like, if people could appreciate the information, and people this way reflect. There was one major bank here. I went to the branch. The machine wouldn't give out money. I had to go to another branch. I don't want to call
Mhm.
no banks, but I'm saying, and this is New York City, New York
Yep.
City.
Oh, I
Um,
know. I went to deposit money into a bank, and we were started at 23rd Street, got all the way every time we stopped. We couldn't use the ATM. And all
yeah,
the way till we got to 125th Street, which was the only one that had an ATM on the outside. So we were able to get the money deposited in. And I was like, something going on.
yeah, yeah.
Something's going on, and got to be careful. So my question to you, Lloyd, okay, so we know we got this coming into the end of this year. Is
Hmm.
there any hope for 2025? Do we
To a
have some?
degree, yes, and a way, the way this country is going, there seems to be more war minded. That's where the challenge is going to be. Because first of all, 2025 adds up to a nine. Nine is governed by the planet Mars, which is associated with war and conflict. And don't forget, October is, I always call October the preview month. If you pay attention to what's going on in October, that gives you a snapshot as to what's coming up for the year. It's like going to a movie. We taking you to a movie, but before we see the main movie, we see the trailers, that what the coming
Mhm.
attractions, whatever. Well, notice how there's been a serious escalation in the Middle East and with Ukraine, Russia, since the latter part of September into October. That for me, looking at it metaphysically, to me is not a good sign, because nine governs war, nine governs conflict, nine governs dangers from knives and explosions and things. Now, on the humanitarian side, nine is the love number, universal love,
Mm.
humanitarian, global, universal, international, inspirational. And nine, so for example, where the Democrats and the Republicans used to debate it out or whatever the case is, now they're hating each other. That's a nine trait. How you going to get somewhere hating each other? How you going to get somewhere if you're not close, and every time you look at somebody, that's you looking at them as your enemy, not somebody, well, maybe we need to sit down and work this out. So there doesn't seem to be anything about peace. Okay. It's very, very challenging. It caused a lot of lives, unfortunately. I mean, I mean, there's no win. So as I was saying on my show before, you got these people that's got all these very ultra rich people in building bunkers in Hawaii. So okay, so the man blows himself, the kingdom come. Radiation stays in the air for about 4 or 5 months. So when all these rich people come out, there ain't gonna be nobody to talk to. Okay. They're gonna be all by them lonely selves and whatnot. And food's gonna be contaminated, everything. But there are people who really think that they can do something like this and survive. And I'm
Oh yeah.
saying, for people who's supposed to be sophisticated, that's the most immature thought I've ever heard. Why not try to save humanity to save yourself?
And that's the truth. But that counts for love. That counts for care. That's asking for things not to be selfish. And that's one of the things. Like last month, I was meditating, and I said, "Okay, I'm going to watch this movie because for some reason it keeps coming up." It was "Leave the World Behind" with Julia Roberts, and I
Mm-hmm.
watched it. And I know that they've told us before that the powers that be have a tendency to tell what's getting ready to happen, but they put it in a movie or TV. And in
Mm-hmm.
the movie, I tell anybody, I'm not, I don't promote other movies and stuff, but this movie, I think it was a lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And and then it was Don't Look Up. And that's the other thing, that was with Tyler Perry and Meryl Streep. And I saw these stars, these celebrities in these movies. I said, well, maybe they're trying to tell us something. But in each one, it talks about the demise of this world and the fact that through greed, that it just goes kapooey, but comes back in a different frame, and I'm thinking that spiritually, maybe that's the Armageddon.
It's going to be a reset spiritually, because don't forget 9 on the positive side. And see, it all depends on how you look at your half a glass of water, half full, half empty. So on the more positive side, since 9 represents universal love, it moves global things that are global, universal, international. Now they're talking about the global economy. Well, that's because everything is all now kind of tied in together. But
Yes.
if we were to take an effort to focus on the higher side of the number 9, it would be a very peaceful thing. But it seems either the powers that be, the global elites, or some of these phraseologies I hear, just want war. Why? To make a profit at the expense of people's lives. You know what I'm saying? Would they want that to happen to their lives or their children's lives? So I'm trying to figure out where people are coming from with this head. So I'm not too impressed with the ultra rich. I'm not.
I hear you. Yeah,
Because they've got the kind of money that can really prevent a lot of this stuff that's going on.
yeah. And that's the thing is that's what I teach in our class. We have an Imani Center for Spiritual Growth. And in it, I talk about the fact that we can't concentrate on the physical. We have to go to the metaphysical. We have to be still and listen. Many people have a tendency to pray. Sometimes they beg, but instead, you got to get still and listen, because you'll know which way to go. I was very concerned about 2025. I'm in a quandary with the world as far as we are today, because like you said, it's not a loving situation. So there's 2 sides to 9.
Yes.
One very loving,
and then my approach is the loving side, the more humanitarian side, not the side of conflicts, drama, confrontations, arguments, fender benders. Let that be. But somehow, there used to be this thing about the paper: if it bleeds, it leads. You know what I'm saying? If there's something like that, it's about selling. And all of it is about this. And I need to ask you, when you come back on my show, what is so important about making a profit? What about the people? If the people are taken care of, they're going to always have a profit. No? Or is that too logical? See, I'm going to say that.
Logical, but it doesn't. If you make a profit, instead of me thinking, if I make a profit, you make a profit, we have, okay, so I made 10% and you made 10%. We're good. But no, I want to make 20%. And I want you to have
nothing. And the other person have nothing.
Yeah. And that's where the greed comes in. It's like one of my associates said to me, why do people want so much, get so much, why do they hurt other people to get so much when they already have everything? How many houses are you going to buy? How many cars do you want to drive? You can drive 1. Okay, so maybe 2 to back up. Okay, but you need,
and none of them can take it to the grave. None of them.
No. Oh no, I know that. I done watched everybody that had money, especially Jacqueline Onassis. I sat there all day watching her funeral, waiting for that Brinks truck to go by. And it didn't. And that's how I know.
They can't take a penny with them. So So I think for people, they would say, well, Lloyd, you're very naive. I don't think so. And I think if we don't lose the essence of the human spirit of helping one another, as I've taught my children coming up, if you're dangling from the cliff of life, does it really matter who come and help you off that cliff, regardless of the religion, the ethnicity, the gender, the finances, whatever the case is? You know what I'm saying? And right now, a lot of us are on the cliff, edge of a cliff.
We are.
And they're finding, and I looked at this program this morning, people in the $150,000 bracket, 150K bracket, are now beginning to start to live paycheck to paycheck.
Oh yeah, they have increased the level of poverty Poverty is now, I remember when poverty was real bad. Now poverty is at
Yeah.
40 some odd $1,000. And so I'm like, that's poverty, huh? But that's when you qualify. And so it used to be, what would make you happy? As a matter of fact, with Wealth Wave, we had an article that said, if you're making $130,000 a year, you're happy. I said, not anymore. Not in New York.
The survey was 100 people for making on average 150K in this country is now living paycheck to paycheck.
Paycheck to paycheck, because you can't do it when rent too damn high, food too hard to eat, and not even healthy. It's really bad. I know you have some events coming up, and this is one thing that I love is that everyone should tune in on Mondays and Wednesdays to the Lloyd Strayhorn show, because he has people on it. But these people are out here. This weekend, I think, is a very powerful weekend, because there's Crystals, the sister who was the Crystal Lady.
Acuna, yeah.
Yes, and King Solomon. These are
There's
people.
going to be an event taking place this Sunday out at Nicholas, Brooklyn at 1396 Fulton Street. And it's going to take place where a lot of people can be in attendance. On Saturday, it's going to be taking an event by the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce. That's going to be taking place. But there's a lot of things that are going on. But for next year, I'm going to be teaching a professional, and I've taught 2 classes this year, how to do this as a living. Unemployment is going way up. Although they'll come out with unemployment numbers, then they have to revise it about a month or 2 later to say, well, it was really higher than what we said. And because we're going into an election, everybody is on their best behavior. Now they figure after the election, then people can go back to being ugly. I don't know what it is, but actually, it all depends on how we look at life. Me, I'm going to look at the higher side, just knowing that since hate and anger is one of the things that's perpetuated, it's not let people bother you, not let people get your goat, not let them dupe you into arguments and complain. My thing is, listen, you got it.
Well, you started to tell about the, can you go to Lloyd-Strayhorn.com and get, and get the information on his class?
Free. In fact, my Udemy course is now on sale now. If they get it, just go to Lloyd-Strayhorn.com and they can actually sign up for the course. I think to get all 3 courses today is like $45. If you want to spend top dollars or hundreds of dollars, please go right ahead. Just wait till tomorrow, and I'll be very happy.
That's the whole power behind it. Get the app, get the classes you're doing next year. Is the palm reading.
That's in April, right? I'm going to be teaching palms because the hand is such a wonderful, the entire body, the brain, the nose, everything. But the hand is the most of them, or the most active, energetic, to hug somebody, to caress somebody, to, you know what I'm saying, to feed yourself. There's so many things we do. But Napoleon, the general, once says, the face may deceive, which means a person can put up makeup, but the hand never. So this is why I try to tell my students, don't get caught up about how attractive that person looks or how handsome they look. Because once you look at the hand, you can see, and in fact, that's one of the best scams that go on. People that project the attractiveness and the handsomeness and wind up just being scammers.
Well, I can't believe the time has gone, but I am ever so thankful to you. And I got to get to you.
I'm having you back at the end of the year.
Okay.
So I'm having you back at the end of the year too. In fact, I'm going to have you a couple of times, and then in the new year, I'm going to have a power series for empowerment, so that way we can discuss things that doesn't violate community guidelines, so to speak.
That's a good thing. I'm looking forward to it. Lloyd, I have been blessed. You didn't even know when you came into my life, because my mother gave me your book, and I still got that black book. I got it. I put it away because
that is a collector's item.
And so I have that, and I, because my mother was a numbers person too. She used to do she said she working it out, and she would get lucky.
Yeah. My father played the numbers too. All of us played the numbers at some point, especially our elders, our
That's
parents.
our community. So, Lloyd, I
Yeah.
want to thank you so much for
Thank
being
you, and I
who
love you
you
much.
are.
Thank
Number
you.
one.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
then being on this show, thank you so much. I know my audience is so thankful to you. You know, those of you who have the opportunity, you need to tap in and listen. But of course, you know, I'm the fan of the A-Star 8. So you'll
Please
check
pick up
it.
the app. It's an app that helps people. It has a lot of exclusive features. Analyze your name, relationships, businesses. It even choose the car that's best for you. You punch
That's
it in
it.
and it'll tell you on a scale of 1 to 10 whether it's a good car for you or maybe you need to leave that car alone and pick something else. And it's a lot. But for me, my main feature is that calendar. The calendar came as a result of all the people for decades, me doing their calendars. I bring my red and green pen. And I said, there got to be another way. And along came technology. And here it is.
It works. So, Lloyd, you take care. You have a good night. Thank you, audience, for listening.
Thank you.
And definitely, you know, Lloyd and I are joined at the hips. So it's
Amen. Amen on that one.
Okay, everyone be safe and be smart and always work towards your checkup from the neck up because the change is here.
I love that. Checkup from the neck up. And I love you much, Jana. Thank you so much.
Love you too. Take care.
Okay. And thank Matt too.
She was told that she couldn't play with the boys. She was told that they were too big, too rough, too strong. She was told to give up her dreams and move on. She was told to just be pretty, be quiet, be a lady. She was told that women had to stay on their side of the court, stay in your lane. Playing and competing with men was insane. She was told that men and women would never be equal. Dreaming like that would only be lethal to your mind, to your soul. She never listened. She knew that their thinking was old. She was magic. She is the definition of spirit. She is what champions are made of. She is